All right, guys, so example 2 says use the problems in example 1 and find other polar coordinates, which is always denoted as radius, comma, theta, which is an angle, of the point for which. So we got 1i, 2i, and 3i's, and these are different conditions for our example 2. Okay, now, so 1i says all of the points in example 1. Now I want you to find a positive radius, and the angle is now restricted in between -2 pi and 0 inclusive at -2 pi. Now, as you know, example 1 had 4 parts, so why don't we make 4 little boxes? How about this? Separate these, okay? And because we have 4 parts in example 1, I want to have room for all 4, okay? So example 1, A, B, C, and D. Okay, let's go and find example 1A. 1A, the original was already a positive radius, so we got positive radius check, and the angle was positive 7 pi over 4. But the restriction, for example, 1i is now it wants us to change it to a negative radius. So all we do is, remember, we still have to end up at exactly the same spot, okay? So for us to end up at the same dot here, we just have to go counterclockwise. So that will still give us the positive radius of 5, but now we're gonna have a negative, so 5 comma negative pi over 4. This polar coordinate will still give us the same exact location. Okay, now let's go to B. In B, again, we already have a positive radius of 3, and we already have a negative angle, so we don't have to change anything on B. So we will keep it exactly was it a pi over 3 or pi over 6? Negative pi over 6. Maybe that would be helpful if I just write all of these down, huh? So I don't have to go up and down. That's what I'm going to do. So hold on tight. 5, 7 pi over 4, that was A. A, 5, 7 pi over 4. And B was negative, no, that was positive 3. B was positive 3, comma, negative pi over 6. And C was negative 2, comma, 0. And D, so this way I don't have to go up and down. D was negative 6, comma, pi over 3. All right, there you go. So now that we have those, let me get the green pen again. All right, let's move on to, okay, now C was negative 2, so that was a negative radius. And remember, example 2, 1i wants us to have a positive radius and a negative angle. Now we do want to get to this dot over here. So for us to get a negative angle, we will go a negative pi. And all we have to do, if we go a negative pi already, then that is our negative angle. And if we do a positive 2 radius, then we don't have to go the other side. So we will write positive 2 radius. So this 1i here, all of the radius got to be positive and all the angles got to be negative. But it should still give us the same exact location, okay? Then we have D, which is negative 6 comma negative 6 comma positive angle. Well, we don't want a positive angle and we don't want a negative radius, so we will go clockwise to get a negative radius. Clockwise to get a negative angle, and then just stay on that ray. So now we are going to write positive 6 and negative 2 pi over 3. Okay, so that's positive 6 and negative 2 pi over 3, just like that. Now on 2i's, it wants all of the radius to be negative and all of the angles to be positive. So we will draw out our lines. I'm gonna go get blue and make all of my lines here blue to separate my A, B's, and C's and D, okay, just like that. A, B, C, and D, there you go. So A, B, C, and D. A, B, C, and D. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to work out A and B with you for 2 eyes and 3 eyes, and I'm going to leave C and D for you guys to try on your own. So next, I will get a green pen. Okay, so let's do A and B on both 2 eyes and 3 eyes. A says 5 comma 7 pi over 4. Well, 5 is a positive radius, and 2 eyes want us to have a negative radius, okay? So what we need to do is we need to go a positive angle, okay? Mind you, we have to go a positive angle and a negative radius. Negative radius meaning that when you're drawing that ray, the dot has to go the opposite direction. So if I were to go completely opposite direction of what oh, that doesn't look like a very good ray there. Okay, so what if I go, here's the opposite direction of what I already have. What if I go positive angle here, but I can't make my phi radius there because it has to be a negative 5 radius. Would you agree? But that's okay. If I go opposite of that, I'm going to end up at the dot that was supposed to be. So that angle is perfectly fine. And so this is a pi over 2. This is a pi over 2. So that means that's 3 pi over 4. So whoops. So I'm going to go up, comma, 3 pi. Oh, I'm supposed to write that on A. I lie. 3 pi over 4, just like that. All right, B, again, we want a negative radius. Currently, B has a positive radius, and it has a negative angle, so we don't want either one of those. And similarly, if we want the dot to be exactly where it is now on B, I'm just going to go and draw a ray opposite of where it is now. I think that's some ugly ray. No, and that's not even straight. So let me turn my paper. There you go. So if I want to go all the way there, okay, so let's see. This is a pi over 2 here. So that's going to be 2 pi over 3. Okay, so that's 2 pi over 3 currently. Is it 2 pi over 3? Let me check, sorry. This is a pi over 3. No, that's 5 pi over 6. I lie. So this right now is 5 pi over 6. Okay, so that's 5 pi over 6, but I want a negative radius. So that's perfectly okay, because then if I go to the blue, so go the opposite. So if I go here, that's where I want it to be. So we do have a negative 3 comma 5 pi over 6, just like that. So now I'm going to jump over to 3 eyes and do both of those again with the restriction of 3 eyes. On 3 eyes, it wants a positive radius and it wants over 1 revolution. So I'm going to erase all my greens here. Over 1 revolution means a circle and a little bit, okay? Which is not a bad idea. So here's 1 full circle, but it wants more than that. So I'm going to go wee another time. Well, full revolution is 2 pi, and we're ending at exactly the same spot on example A there. So now I'm just going to do plus 7 pi over 4. So as you can see, 2 pi is 8 pi over 4 plus 7 pi over 4. So that's 15 pi over 4 is our angle. Okay, so our angle is 15 pi over 4. 15 pi divided by 4. Now it wants a positive radius. We already have a positive radius on 5. So now we're just going to copy the 5 back down. B, similarly, it wants exactly the same spot and a positive angle. So I'm going to go, well, that's 1 full revolution and a little bit. Okay, so again, a full revolution is 2 pi, and it wants a positive, excuse me, it wants a positive angle. So as we know, that's 2 pi with 1 full revolution. We know the reference angle is a pi over 6, so now we are left with 11 pi over 6. So if you have a common denominator, this is really 12 over 6. So now this angle is 23 pi over 6 is the angle. 23 pi over 6. Okay, now the radius is positive, so all we do is we're going to copy down 3 because it was already positive. Now I want you to take a minute to do C and D for both 2 eyes and 3 eyes. So example 2i's, part C here. Hopefully you guys got -2, 0. And part D, you got -6, positive pi over 3. Remember, this restriction, all angles got to be positive and all radii got to be negative. Now for 3i's, part C, hopefully you guys got 2, 3i. And D, you should have gotten 6, 10 pi over